Okay, first of all, as I mentioned in the other video, these bottles are sparkling drinks. They are not alcohol. So I don't want y'all to think I'm on here and I'm all on some stuff. So nonetheless, this thing with Monique. Now, I want to say this, and I hope we really need to get this. Though I'm speaking using her situation, this is for all of us to get an understanding of. Okay. The end result of this thing between her and her son was her saying that some older lady she met in the airport, excuse me, was saying more or less F your son if he on some kind of time with you. And so she repeated it, which she doesn't realize she's going to have to really answer to that, to the Most High. And the reason is this. She stated that in interviews herself with her husband slash manager slash daddy dude, which is a whole nother thing I can discuss on a later thing. But nonetheless, she explained that she was so early on, she was so into her career. She was insecure. She was dealing with a lot of different males because of the insecurity. She had her son, and even though she had her son, she was more focused on achieving her goals, making money, being famous. Her words were, I wanted to be famous. Not I wanted to be a mother, not I wanted to be a wife, not I wanted to be any of that, but more importantly, I wanted to be famous. Which means that she wasn't able to give her son what he needed, right? So, when we have children, and I'm saying that's collectively, whether you give birth to a child, you helping raise a child, or you're in some connection with a child, we have, mainly mothers and fathers, have the assignment to ensure that the children are raised properly. You cannot put out a child. I don't care if you got a child still 30, 40, 56 years old in your home. If you haven't prepared that child to be out in this world, you cannot put that child out. Okay, let me read this first and foremost. Proverbs 22:6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. You cannot. We cannot. And parents, please understand this. The relationship you have with another person, an intimate relationship, is the level of relationship that you have with your child. It would never be greater. So if you and your child have a strained relationship, mainly when there has been no proper what's the right word? Holy Spirit, help me. When there has been no proper attempt to restore it, rebuild it, replenish it, renew it, you cannot have a proper relationship with another individual. Thus why she may be calling her husband daddy, because she has not been a parent, in her own words, to her first son. When people tend to get into relationships to have children, and they have children with the other person, they kind of forget about the first one, because it kind of reminds them, in some instances, it reminds them of what they didn't do. He clearly didn't get all he needed to get from her or his father from being in the world. Secondly, it also says in the Bible, Ephesians 6:4, it says, fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instructions of the Lord. It also says in Colossians 3:21, fathers, do not provoke your children, lest they become discouraged. When Monique said what she said on that stage, she was really talking about herself, clearly. Because regardless to what is going on, there has to be some decorum and some maturity in an individual to be able to address a matter out without anger. She clearly addressed it with anger. And to me, she's more upset with herself about this whole thing, how she handled it from the beginning, from his birth to now. And her not taking care of that in decency and order when she should have early on caused a problem. And it will be most helpful when we find out and realize we didn't do the best job we could, right? Instead of fighting against it and trying to be the victor or seem like I did all I could do, you know, this, that, and that may be the case, but it doesn't negate the fact that an apology still has to be rendered to that child to say, yes, I did all that I knew at that time. It just wasn't enough. And because it wasn't enough, you didn't get what you needed. And I apologize from my heart for that, if you didn't get what you need. And I pray from this moment on, though we can't go back, but I pray for this moment on that God would allow you healing. I hope my humble forgiveness that I'm asking from you would help you with that process. And I hope we can heal together, because it's not only one side that's hurting, it's both sides that's hurting. And so I want us to remember this thing going on with this comedy thing, which I have a video coming out about this in more detail. The enemy is trying to do what he does best: kill, steal, and destroy, conquer, and divide. Comedy keeps us balanced. Laughter keeps us balanced. A smile keeps us balanced. Happiness, joy keep us beyond balanced. And if he can keep us without it, if he can minimize that and keep us in this divide state, to keep us in this anger and battling with each other back and forth for who's right, who's wrong, and this and that, he can come in and conquer. Also know the way we handle situations. The enemy went, and I know some of y'all seen this. You see, I thought I saw something. You thought you saw a shadow moving. You did. They're imps. Imps run the baseboards, and what they do, they are watchers of the enemy. And what they do is they report back. They find out what pisses you off, what distracts you, what gets you excited, all of these different things, so the enemy know what to use. The interesting part is he tend to use the same thing over and over again, just disguise it as something different. So should be no shock when certain things come. We should be able to identify through discernment. However, when we get so caught up and picking sides and choosing who's right and who's wrong, and not bringing any substance to help it heal all the way around, that's a problem. That's why I had to sit on this and wait and ask God, do I need to do anything? And get his approval to do it, and the way that I should come about it. And that's why this video is being posted. Again, you cannot discard of a child if you have not trained that child in the way they should go. And as long as we have not done that, we are held responsible for that child, regardless to age. So, though prayers go out for all involved and all connected in one form or fashion, just know that there's decency and order in an intimate relationship, a person relationship, and an estranged relationship. And I pray that we stop allowing the enemy to conquer and divide us, and stealing our joy, our laughter, and our smiles.